Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My, oh my, how exciting it is to be back here on Delaware 302 Sports Live. I had to check myself for a second there. Delaware Live. Delaware Live Sports Live. That's what we'll call it. Nonetheless. Welcome back in. Look, I mean, we're dusting off the rust. As you can see, it's been a while since we've seen you. Thanks for joining in. Can't wait to break down the fall sports season here today with you guys. Once again, Patrick Ariani's with me today. Glenn Frazier, Jason Winchell, Mike Lang. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Hey, buddy. Good to be back.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, how have things been holding up through the summer? I know it's an exciting fall sports season we're getting ready for here.
Ready to go, and wife wants me out of the house, so I mentioned to get out, and that starts on Thursday night.
Absolutely, Jay. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous. I mean, I know we got a lot of great things lined up to talk about here today. Some rankings as well.
Yeah, it's just great, like you said, to be back, in a place like Buffalo Wild Wings and be able to talk high school sports. And we got a great show lined up tonight to get us ready for the fall season.
Absolutely. Now, typically we will be coming to you on Wednesday evenings. Tonight, we just couldn't wait. We could not wait until Wednesday, so we got things going here early in the week, starting your week off the right way. So, as we said, really, really excited to break down. Benny Mitchell will be joining us a little bit later for football. So, with that, we're going to hop right in. Glenn, cross country this season. Some exciting stuff coming this year. That'll be the first sport we break down.
Well, and last year, for the first time, 302 Sports did the cross-country state championship. So we got that under our belts. I'm sure DIAA will want us back again this year, so looking forward to that. Most of the cross-country teams don't get into action until later next week with several invitationals around the area. If we take a quick preview at Girls First in Division II, Perennial Power Ursuline Academy, they returned 4 of their top 5 runners from last year on the state championship team. Then you got to look at St. Mark's, the Herrera sisters, good long-distance runners. They're seniors this fall. And then if you have to take a look at some dark horses upstate, it would be Conrad, Tatnall, and Archmere. Sussex Academy is probably the best from the lower 2 counties. Division I girls, Padawa, they've had a stranglehold. They were repeat champs again last year, and they returned Dorsey, McCarthy, Lauer, and Higley. Cape Henlopen, one of the better teams from downstate, they returned Katie Kuhlman. And Wilmington Charter has a solid squad as well. Moving over to the boys in Division II, Tatnall, they had 6 of the top 12 finishers in last year's state championship race. 4 of those 6 are back, led by Andre Latina. And in D1, how about last year, Cape Henlopen upset Perennial Power Salesianum. Ryan Baker is back to return for the Vikes, and he'll be joined by Callaway and Edery. And leading Salesianum, Ryan Banco, he's back, along with Matt Philibin, and they've got some solid depth, as always, with Salesianum. So that's just a little synopsis of the cross-country, and looking forward to a big season out of all those teams, and maybe there'll be some dark horses.
Absolutely, and it sounds great. Really looking forward to it. That's the first of many breakdowns here today. Glenn's going to take a seat over here, maybe grab the rest of some bunch will be back with us for football, I believe, or volleyball, or just football tonight?
Football.
Football tonight,
I'm going to go eat some of Benny's food.
Yeah, I tell you what, it smells really good. So with that, we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening. When we return, Mike and Jay will be sticking around, breaking down some field hockey right here on 302 Sports Weekly.
At Ferris Home Improvements, your family's comfort and safety is always our top priority.
If you call us for your roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchen, and bathroom needs, you can expect health screen craftsmen who wear gloves and face masks and follow minimum 6-foot distancing, virtual conferences to discuss project details, job quotes delivered electronically or brought to your door for your review and approval, and our showrooms in Newark and Rehoboth Beach remain open for limited appointments.
We're here together.
Operating with precautions.
To protect our staff.
And our customers.
At Ferris,
your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I'm a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money. I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership. Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I'm a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money. I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership. Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I'm a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money. I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership. Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I'm a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in here live from Buffalo Wild Wings. It's Delaware Live Weekly. Patrick Gariani's once again joining with you guys. And as I promised, Mike and Jay are here to bring the heat. The first sport we're going to break down here after the break, field hockey. Obviously, last year was a big time, another dominant performance from both Delmar and Cape Henlopen. And fresh off the presses, coming up on your screen now is our preseason top 10 for Division II field hockey. And guys, taking a look at this preseason list here, talk a little bit about some of the teams that you're looking forward to seeing. Obviously, still with Delmar at the top, but amongst the rest of that group, who's exciting you?
Carver always has a good team. They played Delmar last year in the final. They're losing a couple of good players. Caitlin St. Ledger comes to mind immediately, but Carver always has a good team. That for Division II, that would be one of the ones, maybe the one that possibly could challenge Delmar. But I think it's been 10 or 15 years since Delmar has lost a game in state. It seems like it's been that long, and I don't really know that anybody's going to challenge them again this year.
Right.
Interesting team in there is Tower Hill. They went 7-1 last year, but due to they decided not to play in the state tournament.
Right.
So they're a team that could be very interesting, a very good field hockey program. And they had a solid season. But I'm with Mike. I just think it's Delmar has just too much right now for everyone else. But that's why they play the games, right? Sure. So, and Archmer's another team, 12-2 last year, strong season. Lost to Caravel in the semifinals. They're a very talented team, and so okay. There's some good teams in there that can make a run.
Absolutely. Is there anybody not listed in this opening top 10 that you guys feel could be a team that makes a run of things to bump in to this top 10 throughout the season?
I'll go with Concord.
Okay.
They moved down from Division I to they're in Division II, and they get to play in that Flight B.
Mm-hmm.
They've been having solid runs up there in Division I, getting to the semifinals a few times. So let's see now that they moved down to Division II, if they can take down some of the powerful teams in Division II.
Absolutely.
So we should mention for Delmar, by the way, Josie Holloman, who is one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
Announced this week that she's going to go to Maryland and play for University of Delaware.
Yeah.
Tadnell and UD graduate Missy Mahar down in Maryland. The talent and her mom Jody is the coach down there, and the talent just keeps on coming.
Absolutely. Congratulations there. That's quite the achievement. The Terrapins got a good one,
Yeah,
to say the least.
Absolutely.
So with that, fellas, let's jump right into Division I here. Obviously, Cape Henlopen has been dominating this division for years now. They're sitting atop the Division I rankings. Talk a little bit about some of this breakdown here. A lot of Henlopen North teams making the appearance in this top 10.
Yes, 6 in the top 10, but the top 4 spots all go to the Henlopen North teams. Cape Henlopen 1, Polytech 2, Sussex Tech 3, and Dover 4. They've all were in the semifinals last year in Division I. They all beat upstate teams in the opening round and had all Henlopen semifinals for field hockey. They all are strong teams, and I expect the same this year. As they start the year 1 through 4 in the rankings. And then, as you get down, you got Padawa, Appo, St. George's, Wellington Charter. So you still have some upstate teams vying, but right now the Henlopen North just seems to dominate field hockey.
Mike, Jay, last year we saw nothing but conference games. Right. This year we're getting to the return of some non-conference schedules, seeing some different teams play each other there with a little less familiarity. Are there any games that you guys are looking at on these schedules that excite you from the non-conference standpoint?
Well, I want to go right off the bat. Opening night, a week from Wednesday, September 8th, Caravel at Dover. I think should be a great game down at Dover. Dover's ranked 4th. They're always really good team. Caravel, we mentioned, always a good team. So I think that's going to be a good one. And then the obvious one would be Delmar at Cape Henlopen on October 7th. That's really the clash of the Titans.
Yeah. Jay, any?
Yes, I'm going with an early season battle between September 10th between CR and Appoquinimink. CR is one of those Henlopen North teams not in the rankings right now, but if they can go down and travel to Appo and get a nice win there, they can maybe jump right into those rankings and show that they can compete in the Henlopen North. And then October 16th, Cape Henlopen travels up to Wilmington to play at the Chase Fieldhouse against Padawa on a Saturday evening. So that's Cape Henlopen and Padawa met in 2019 in the state finals. So there's some history there, so I expect that to be a real good one.
Absolutely. And then right here before we finish, if each of you guys give me a team that's exciting you this year in this Division I group. If you had to name a team or two, Mike, we'll start with you.
Other than the usuals, I think Milford could do some things. Again, that's Sussex County, the hotbed of field hockey in Delaware, obviously, and their top scorer returns. They do have a sophomore keeper, but if she can give them a solid play, I think Milford could really turn some heads.
Jay, how about you?
I'm going to go Appoquinimink. With Concord now moving in Division II, that opens up the Flight A, which has been controlled by Concord. Appo still has some tough games with Middletown and St. George's. Also, the Henlopen North having 4 teams up in that top 5, they're going to face each other during the season. If a team goes 0-3 or 1-2 in those games, that gives Appo a chance to possibly sneak up there in that top 5.
There you have it. Okay. Hey, well, there's some teams to keep an eye on. Obviously, we'll see what happens. Obviously, with Delmar and Cape Henlopen dominating this sport through the years, see if someone can shock the Delaware field hockey world here. Only time will tell. With that'll conclude our field hockey coverage for the preseason special here. We're going to take a commercial break. After the break, we're heading to the court, heading indoors, talking some volleyball with Mike and Jay right here on Delaware Live Weekly. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Soto Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group with 12 locations in beautiful coastal Delaware. Come check us out. At Soto Concepts, we believe in cooking beautiful, simple food, developing the people we work with, and making the world a better place. Come visit us this fall for our great off-season specials, like half-price entree night and crab cake night. With 12 locations on the culinary coast from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island, we have something for everyone. See you soon.
Get the assurance that your HVAC system is what you need with Ambience. Ambience provides you with over 25 years of experience in the heating, cooling, and plumbing industry. The team at Ambience Heating and Air Conditioning provides high-quality residential HVAC installations, maintenance, and repairs in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but half of your energy costs go to heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars count and call us today for a free estimate. 302-239-HVAC. 302-239-4822. Get the assurance.
Glad to have you back with us here at Buffalo Wild Wings here in Middletown. This is Delaware Live Weekly. We're switching gears here, fellas. Patrick Arianes, Jason Winchell, Mike Lang, heading over to the court in volleyball. And you know, this is a year that volleyball could be wide open. Obviously, we've had some powers through the years, but it's been Padawa, St. Mark's the last two. And right now you're taking a look on your screen for the top 10 preseason volleyball teams here. And fellas, taking a look, I mean, what's one thing that stands out to you? There's a lot of familiar teams in this preseason top 10.
Absolutely. You look at a team like Wilmington Charter, who was 9th last year at 7 and 8 in the final rankings, are up there number 4 this year. Mike got a chance to see them, so he could probably talk more about them, but they got height, returned a lot of players from last year's team. I think they could be a very dangerous team come state tournament time because of their height.
Yeah, I've seen them twice. They're really, really tall, and they're experienced. They've got Christina Morrison and Ava McMurray, the two seniors up front. They're gonna inflict a lot of punishment. There's really no surprises in the top 10. I would say maybe if there's any surprise, it's Caravel every year, solid program every year, and you don't really think of them as a volleyball. They're good in everything, it seems like, but they're really good at volleyball, better than people think. And one of their basketball players, Layla Glover, is one of their best volleyball players as well. In a small school, a lot of kids play multiple sports, but they're good at all of them. It's amazing how solid their athletic program is at Caravel, and volleyball is no different.
Now, you guys have been our gurus when it comes to volleyball, and Mike, from what I'm hearing, there's going to be a little bit of a change to the match of the week format this year. Talk a little bit about what viewers can expect.
Well, we have what do we have? 7? No, we have 6 scheduled.
Okay. So
we're we'll just run them down real quick. Our first match is going to be September 16th, Padawa at Archmere. 6:15 p.m. September 28th, Newark Charter at Wilmington Charter, which I think has a chance of being a really, really good one. That's at 5:15. Then the next week we're here, right down the street, Middletown at Appoquinimink. I think there could be a little changing of the guard in Flight A. Appo's been on top, and I think Middletown may have the edge over Appo this year. That's a 6 o'clock start. The week after, Tower Hill at Tatnall, so we're going to do some independent conference. Then we got a non-conference, Delmarva Christian at Red Lion. The week after that, that's October 21st. And then right now, it's a 7 o'clock start. The traditional season ender in Delaware, the regular season ender, is going to be St. Mark's the champs are at Ursuline to end the season on October 30th, and then the day after that it's selection. It's not really Selection Sunday, more like
It is.
Yeah.
seeding Sunday more than anything else.
Love that.
The day after that, but and we'll do some other matches that we're not locked into just those 6. We'll be at the Padawa home matches as well, and we'll get some other ones in there. But we looked at our calendar for September, in between football and Goldie volleyball and Padawa volleyball and our match of the week. We're running out of empty days in September, so we're going to get what we can.
Well,
we're excited. We got 12 different teams, I believe, on our match of the week.
Let's stay on that same path real fast. Let's stay with the teams here. Are there any under the radar teams here that you guys are excited about? Jay, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think Tower Hill is a team that they graduated a few years ago, Matty Sachs, and they had some great teams. I think this year, they're still a young team.
Yeah.
But they're getting more and more confidence, and they got a very good defense led by their captain, Chloe, Maddie's sister, Chloe Sachs. So I think they're a team that, like Mike said, we got one of their independent matches. So they're a team that not ranked in that top 10 that I think could be an under-the-radar team this year.
Do you have anyone, Mike?
I think somebody out of the Henlopen North.
Okay.
It would be one of 3. If you ask me, Cape, Caesar Rodney, or Dover, I'm going to say Cape Henlopen. They've excellent coaching with Tyler Coop and his mom, Pam. He's just turned, the two of them have turned that program around in the 4 or 5 years that they've been at Cape. They're always a good team. And Smyrna's in the rankings, but right behind Smyrna every year is usually Cape Henlopen. And Dover's sneaky good. They're picking up 9, 10, 11 wins every year. It hasn't translated into state tournament success yet, but I like Cape Henlopen.
Okay. Well, let's transition from teams to players. I know you guys love to come out with, you get these players to watch frequently here. I mean, looking at this season, who can fans look forward to keep an eye on from an individual standpoint?
So we do maybe we say 3 apiece, maybe. You want to go first?
Go ahead.
All right, me go first.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go obvious first. And the obvious one to me is Julia Yurkovich, junior at St. Mark's, outside hitter. Just hits the ball through the floor. She's got great hops. She's a junior. She's been on varsity since her freshman year, which is not easy at St. Mark's.
No.
A state championship under her belt now, and so if St. Mark's is stacked with talent, but Yurkovich is right up there. Second, I'm going to go over to Friends and Abby Carrion, who plays kind of all over the place for Coach Barb Fitzgerald. And Abby is a great serve, and she's got, again, she can jump, and she does a lot of things for Friends, and she's really the leader of that team. And then if I had to pick a third one, I'm going to go to, I mentioned Layla Glover already. I want to go to DMA, Kaylee Longera, who's their libero, and I think, for my money, the best libero in the state. I think Kaylee, she's going to be a senior this year. They have a really, really good team. A new coach out there, veteran Mary Pat Quoka, is back after a year off.
Yep.
Love DMA, and I think Kaylee Longera is really the glue that holds that team together, and they're going to be outstanding.
Who you got, Jay?
Well, I'm going to stick with the defense since he picked one of my liberos. I'm going to go Jocelyn Nathan from Friends, a very good defensive specialist libero. She's going to have to be good this year for Friends. If we got them ranked 4th in the preseason, or 5th, 4 or 5 range, and she's going to have a big year for them. So I really like, her. And then I'm going to go setter. And I'm going to go Audrey Lyons of Padawa. She's been playing since freshman year, and has won a state championship. She's in that, Padawa doesn't have the height that they normally do, but if they have a great setter, plus she's, for my money, one of the better servers in the state. Mm-hmm. And then, since he took mine, I'll just go with 2.
That's fine. There you have it. A couple players to keep an eye on, and obviously we'll have more as the season goes on, as things continue to unfold. So, with that, I'll put you guys on the spot real fast, real quick. If there is a team that maybe nobody is thinking of off the top of your head that makes a deep playoff run, and by that I mean quarter to semifinal type run, who would it be? Mike, I'll start with you.
Well, let me see. The usuals are, I have all of them listed a little deeper than usual. And I think, I wouldn't really call them an upset, but they haven't advanced in the tournament, and I'd say that's Newark Charter.
Okay.
To get up to the quarterfinals. They lost Morgan Ritchie, but they have everybody else, just about everybody else back from last year's team. And
Sure.
Newark Charter is a great team, and I would not be surprised to see them in the quarterfinals, wherever they may be.
Gotcha. Newark Charter. And Jay?
I'm going to go, and they're down the rankings a little bit, Archmere.
Okay.
I think Archmere is a young team. They lost a lot. They lost their Hannah Wright. He's now playing at UD. So they have a lot to replace. New coach Jerry McCarthy is over there now.
Okay.
So I think depending on where they're seated, that's a big thing. One year, there's always a team that gets in that right seed line,
Right.
and can produce some upsets. So I think Archmere has a chance to be in the quarterfinals or
go.
later this year.
Newark Charter and Archmere. Keep an eye out for them. They could be the sneak teams this year. That'll do it for volleyball. Mike and Jay, thanks again for that. We are going to take a commercial break. When we come back, boys soccer right here on Delaware Live Weekly.
High school athletics is not what it used to be. The sporting goods industry has been disrupted,
We started at like 6:40.
adding to coach and athletic director daily challenges. BSN Sports stands ready to change the fundamentals of our industry, giving our customers the advantages they need right now. Your dedicated local sales pro is supported with nationwide team service, including sport and category experts. Get the look of D1 colleges and pro teams with our program that streamlines ordering your staff apparel, player gear, and fanwear. Stretch your budget with our fundraising solution. Free and ready in minutes. Our campus branding products are perfect for boosting school and team pride. BSN Sports has the advantages you need right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome in, ladies and gents. Welcome back, I should say, ladies and gents. Patrick Ariani's here with you on Delaware Live Weekly. And as we promised, we're going to head right into soccer with Mike and Jay, starting with the boys' top 10 preseason throwed up there right now. And again, the defending champs, Appoquinimink, getting the job done last year. They take the top spot this year. To go from the hunty to the hunted can be a challenge for sure. What are you guys expecting to see from that Appo bunch? Jay, I'll start with you.
Yeah, like you said, they were chasing Salesiana for years. Finally got the nice win in PKs last year.
Yeah, it's awesome.
In a great state championship game. And Appo also beat them in the regular season. So Sally's had 2 losses last year, both to Appo. Appo lost a lot. Sally's lost a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how Appo can, if Appo can sustain it and possibly repeat this year. But they're going to start the year ranked number 1 in our poll in the state of Delaware. But I will make a note: Salesiana is 29th in the nation. Yeah. And has one of the toughest schedules in the nation this year. They got a road trip to North Carolina. And they got the nationally ranked St. Benedict's Prep coming to Delaware this year. So they get back to their national schedule this year after playing all Delaware teams last year.
Yeah, and that's what the norm is for that program.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's going to be any kind of rust getting back into that? But I don't know if that's the right term or not. But taking a year off from a national schedule, then hopping back into it. Are the Sal's going to be prepared for that?
I think so. I think a lot of teams had to do that last year. There were a lot of states where you couldn't travel. So I think it's not just an issue for Salesianum. It's a lot of schools that were not stuck, but had to play their local opponents last year. Even a team like St. Benedict's, the team from Ocean City, Walter Johnson, that they're playing, I believe, next week. So they're just playing. They go out and play their game, and I don't think Coach Mosier really cares who's on the other side.
Right.
He just goes out and plays the game, and he might look when St. Benedict's and the Gravies are out there. He might know. But
it's become a great rivalry.
That's gonna be a great at Abyssinia. I'm already excited for that game. It's in early October, but. No, I don't think it really matters to Sal's. They just go out and play.
Sure. All right. Well,
and they got a brand new home, so they were there last year for part of the season. But it's going to be fun.
Aside from those two, I mean, what teams excite you here in the Division I ranks? Jay, I'll start with you.
A team I look forward to is St. George's Tech.
Okay.
They come in at 3. They got to the semifinals last year, losing to Ampo, I believe, 3-1 in the semifinals. A good team. You know, they were, like I said, 13-3. In a tough Flight A that also has Middletown and Appo. So, a great year for St. George's Tech, and can they repeat it this year, against a tougher schedule they have this year.
Mike?
So a team that's not listed in the top 10 that I really like is William Penn.
Okay.
They were 4-1 last year, did not play enough games to qualify for the state tournament. They lost 7 games because of COVID shutdowns. The year before that, they were 9-6-1 and lost to Appo 2-0 in the first round of the state tournament. They have a lot of those guys that are still there, and they play. I've seen them play. They're a very freewheeling, attacking style of soccer that's fun to watch, and a really good keeper. I'll mention his name a little later. In my players to watch, but I'd say look out for the Colonials. I also have to say, look out for St. George's because the coach of St. George's, Justin Null, was right up the street from me, and I don't want to go home and have Justin wait for me outside my front door.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good segue. We'll leave right. Not that you getting your door knocked on, right? Not that, but
it could be any one of Justin's 4 kids at my front door. You never know.
But players, give me 2 players each that you guys are excited to take a look at here. Mike, we'll start with you since you hinted at one.
All right. So the William Penn keeper is Brian Rios Saldivar. Very athletic keeper for the Colonials, and keeps them in games. They can score, but he does the job on the other end. You got to play defense. The other one, speaking of scoring, is Jake Ross from Salesianum Jr. Scores goals. That Jason said they graduate kids every year.
Yeah.
But they just bring the next guy in. Jake Ross, who's been on that team for a couple years, is going to be one of the main scorers for Scott Mosier this year, and they're going somebody to watch.
Pat, instead of players, I'm going teams.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
gonna mix it up here in a couple downstate teams for you. Milford finished the year last year 12-1-1. A great soccer program. They drew a tough one in the first round, happened to play Appoquinimink, but that's a team I expect good things from it. And I have to go Smyrna. Smyrna had a great year last year, 7-5-1. They're not always known for their soccer. They're more known for football and volleyball and other sports, but their soccer program had a great year, went 7-5-1 last year. I think they can be a team to watch this year in that bottom half of the top 10.
Absolutely. Now let's roll right into Division II, as you're going to see the rankings here pop up on your screen. And first thing that jumps out here, fellas, 4 Diamond State teams, conference teams in this top 10. How strong is that conference, and do you think that they'll beat each other up a little bit, perhaps knock each other out of the top 10 a few different times?
Yeah, it's a really strong conference, and then they also have to play Wilmington Charters in that conference, and they're Division I. But you got Newark Charter, who finished runner-up to Indian River last year. They're 2. Then MOT Charter, who got into the semifinals last year, are in there at 4. Archmare's in there at 5. And then you go down, and DMA is in there at 9. So, a solid conference representation. And I'm with you. I think their schedule and having to play them each, and then add in a Wilmington charter, that can make it tough if you lose 3 or 4 of those conference games to be seeded real high in a 12-team tournament.
Mike, taking a look at Tower Hill, 7-1 last year, opted out of the state tournament. They got to be a team to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I don't know much about them individually, but they always have a good program, and they tend to draw really good soccer players there. So without having a chance to see them last year, I'm hoping to get out to see Tower at some point this year, and it would not surprise me if they're right there in the conversation at the end of the year, because they're always good.
Yeah, and so last 2 years we saw Archmere, Indian River win, teams that have always been in the mix but maybe hadn't gotten over the top there. I mean, this year do you see that trend continuing where, a team that may be, I don't want to say overlooked, but, would be a fresh face taking home the state championship this year? Do you feel like that trend continues?
I do, and I like two of them. Newark Charter, who finished runner-up last year. They had a great season. They can, they're playing that tough Diamond State, so we'll see if they can get the job done. And then my other one is Friends, who was in the state finals a couple of years against Archmere. Got off to a good start last year, and then struggled coming down the stretch and in the first round of the tournament, but that's a team I look to bounce back this year and possibly take home the state championship.
And Newark Charter's loaded with seniors this year, so this really could be the year for the Patriots. They were a tough team last year, and they're just a year better this year.
All right, there you have it. That'll wrap it up for soccer. We're going to go from the original football to American football next. Benny and Glenn will be joining the set as we break down the gridiron action that's ahead of us this year.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions.
I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership. Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I am a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money. I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership. Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Soto Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group with 12 locations in beautiful coastal Delaware. Come check us out. At Soto Concepts, we believe in cooking beautiful, simple food, developing the people we work with, and making the world a better place. Come visit us this fall for our great off-season specials, like half-price entree night and crab cake night. With 12 locations on the culinary coast from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island, we have something for everyone. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Soto Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group with 12 locations in beautiful coastal Delaware. Come check us out. At Soto Concepts, we believe in cooking beautiful, simple food, developing the people we work with, and making the world a better place. Come visit us this fall for our great off-season specials, like half-price entree night and crab cake night. With 12 locations on the culinary coast from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island, we have something for everyone. See you soon.
assurance
From
that
the
your
second
HVAC system is
segment, I
what
would
you
go right
need
into
with
the tech.
Ambience.
All right,
Ambience
so
provides
first
you with over
segment's broken
25
down.
years of
It's,
experience in the
first
heating,
segment's
cooling,
gonna
and
be
plumbing
top
industry.
five
The team at
and a
Ambience
couple
Heating and Air
questions
Conditioning
for each
provides
class.
high-quality
Then I would
residential
take a
HVAC
break, and then
installations,
let's look at
maintenance,
some week
and
zero
repairs
games.
in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but
I
half of
need
your
to
energy
find my
costs go
tablet
to
charger.
heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars
too.
count and call us today for a free estimate. 302-239-HVAC. 302-239-4.
Me and Benny and Jay.
Right. I had to blow mine up though.
Played first base for the first time in his career.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that
And
idea.
made a couple of scoops.
And I love that idea, Benny. You shouldn't be teaching them how to use
Yeah.
Right.
technology, but you are.
Marshawn, scrubs.
Full house right here on Delaware Live Weekly, and what else do you expect, man? We're going to break down some football action for you right here, and I'll tell you what, couldn't be more excited for this football season. Glenn and Benny, thanks for joining us here, and this year a little bit different, right? We hyped this thing up, and it's finally time. The three classes of football, I don't know if we want to call it AAA, AA, single A. I mean,
That sounds the best.
that's what sounds about right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So. With that, let's talk about it. Obviously, we broke down a lot about the classifications, but now that we're right around the corner from it, is your excitement level higher, the same, or lower now that we're about a week or so away from games beginning? We'll start with the newcomers on the set here. We'll start with you, Benny.
Going around, I did what I called the Tour de Sussex, where I went around to Sussex Tech and Laurel and Seaford and Cape and Lopin, and everybody was they're excited about it, and it's something new, and there's a lot of change. And another thing it did, it opened up schedules. So we're going to see a lot of games that we never saw before, because you got these Blue Hen Conference schedules where you have to schedule your 8 Blue Hen. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. So now we're going to see a little bit more upstate. Heck, one division, it is upstate, downstate, that 2A division, District 3, where you have Red Lion and Caravel down there with the Woodbridges and the Delmars. So I think it's going to be a little more interesting. I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
Glenn?
Not a whole lot of change in the top level in 3A,
Right.
because basically you've got the Henlopen North almost intact in the one district. The big thing to me is obviously Salesian for the first time ever being in a conference, and they're scheduling all Delaware schools for the first time ever, I believe. So that's the big thing in 3A. And then 2A and 1A, I think it's just interesting, the matchups that you have coming up. Opportunities for schools that have never played for a state championship, especially in 1A. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Mike and Jay, any thoughts?
I think it's going to be, I'm excited because how many games do we go to that become running clocks? Week after week after. I think it's 40-something percent of the games running into the running clock. It was no good for anybody. I think the participation numbers, they expected them to go up, and I believe they are up in a lot of schools. And that's good to see. Seaford has 36, 37 kids on the team. Last year they had 16.
Yeah.
So, these kids don't want to go out and lose 56-0 every week.
Right.
But if they can go out there and compete, they may not win a state championship, but at least they're going to be in the game, and it's going to be a lot more fun. And I think that's a good thing. Now, we don't need to do it for every sport, but for football, I think it was worthwhile.
Jay, any additional thoughts to what these guys have been saying?
Yeah, I'm with Mike. I think the parity this year, I think you're going to see a lot more closer contests. And like Glenn said, it gives some of these other schools that never had hope at the beginning of the year that they have hope to possibly get in the state tournament and compete, whether it's in division, Class A, AA, or AAA. So I think it's good for football.
So with the classification shake-up here, we trimmed down the rankings for football. We're doing a top 5 for each of the 3 as opposed to a top 10. So with that, we'll start with Class A. All right, 8 of the 14 teams will be making the state tournament this year. Here is our Delaware Live top 5 rankings in terms of preseason. You'll see them on your screen. And this is the class that I know we've talked about this on the various podcasts and whatnot. This is one that does excite me this year, because these are the teams that you talked about, Mike, where the competitiveness, it was tough to compete against the Middletowns and schools like that. So to see them get into some competitive matchups, this is going to be exciting. Taking a look at this, this top 5 and maybe outside of it, Mike and Jay, I'll start with you guys. What stands out to you here with this group?
I'm just looking at it. I see your St. Elizabeth Vikings in there.
Yeah.
They haven't made the tournament since 2014. They were a pretty regular participant in Division II before that. They fell upon some hard times. They've been through some coaching changes. Another new coach this year with Mike Lemon, a guy you know well.
Yeah.
And they have some numbers out for the team this year, and they're excited. I haven't talked to Lemon, but I talked to Joe Capilli last week, and they're excited over St. E's for a football season. And that's these are teams that have never been ranked. They got to be excited. You got to be excited to see your alma mater.
Right. Exactly. Jay, is there anyone that stands out to you in this class?
I think Tatnall. Tatnall did not play last year with the COVID. They decided to take the year off. They've had some lower numbers kid-wise, and a couple injuries would always, put them in the hole. But it's going to be interesting this year. New coach. They haven't played. Didn't play last year. I think a nice schedule. And they get to go down and play in that Class A, and I think they're a team. We have them sitting at 5 right now. I think they're a team that will be interesting to see if they are in that top 5 at the end of the year.
Glenn, who are some teams you're taking a look at in 1A?
Right off the bat, to me, I think Laurel could be the class of that whole 1A out of the box. And keep an eye on Odessa. I mean, only freshmen and sophomores, but they could compete right off the bat for a state tournament bid. And Seaford, another program that's seen rough times since basically the 80s. And I think Seaford, with the numbers coming back up, the Blue Jays could make some noise and be a surprise team.
Benny?
Well, no doubt, Laurel. I think everybody's going to chase Laurel this year. They're a team that could compete in AA. Matter of fact, they're playing 3 AA opponents. They're starting the season off with Sussex Tech, who's AA. They kept Delmar on the schedule. They kept Woodbridge on the schedule. I think they're the team to beat. I talked with Jay trying to do the rankings for single A. It was kind of hard because a lot of these teams are ones that have just been getting beat up over the years.
Right.
And then you had like the Christina School District that didn't play last year. Tatnall didn't play last year. So it was kind of hard to see who's coming up. But, Glasgow's always had athletes in all their sports, so you got to be looking at them as maybe a number 3, maybe a team that can surprise. I got to see Odessa at a scrimmage the other day. They've got like 50, 60 kids out there, just freshmen and sophomores, and they have a quarterback that doesn't mind throwing the ball around the field. So they could be a problem. Team to watch: Seaford will be in the semifinals.
Okay.
Under Coach Mark Willen, they will be in the semifinals.
There you go. That's a bold take right there from Benny Mitchell, but he knows the Sussex County, ladies and gents. He knows the Sussex County. So you mentioned a little bit of some of these intra-squad or intra-district games that have your eye. Amongst the panel here, is there any other games that may stand out to you guys? Glenn, I'll start with you.
I like that Week 1 matchup with Conrad and St. E's. 34-27 game last year, real close. It could be real competitive again. That's one right off the bat. And then I think you got to take a look at Week 6, Laurel Bulldogs at the Odessa Ducks. That could be a preview of the final.
How about that? That's insane. Jay, I'll go to you. Is there any games that have stood out to you?
I was with Glenn. I really like that Conrad St. E's just because it was a fun game last year, and you get it right out of the gate, a game on Delaware Live. So, I really like that one. Was my big intra-district game to watch.
Sussex Tech and Laurel. When you're Sussex Tech and you play another county team, it's a rivalry. And these two schools, they're 8 miles apart. The district line is 4 miles from Sussex Tech School. This is going to turn into a rivalry, even though they're in their district. Right. This is going to become a rivalry in Sussex County.
Okay. And Mike, how about you? Is there a game?
Yeah, well, I was looking at some schedules today, and one that jumped out, the runner-up for Division II last year, Archmere.
Right.
Hosting Cesar Rodney this year, and I think that's going to be a good test for Archmere and a good test for Cesar Rodney. The Hawks look good. I saw them the other day. They're pretty experienced, and Cesar Rodney's always a good team. So how about the Riders making the trip way north to my neck of the woods, and they'll be playing Archmere in mid-October.
Okay.
Been a long time since those two have met, too.
Yeah.
I imagine it's been a very long time.
It's insanity.
Well, you
here.
mentioned as Cape Henlopen and Sally's played. And
It's been 18 years since they played.
Is it 18? I was trying to find out the last time they played.
1993 at Baynard, at the stadium
That's
formerly known as
28 years,
Baynard.
Ben.
28. The stadium formerly known as Baynard.
I went down to the former stadium at Cape Henlopen and saw them play probably the year before that.
Right,
And
92,
It's been a long time.
That was
It's a great year.
that was George Glenn coaching against Cape at Cape, then George Glenn coaching against Sally's at Sally's.
At Sally's.
It was right when he made the switch.
You gotta love it. So with that, and we will get into the class 3A, the AAA group, in a little bit. But before we do that, let's look at the top 5 right here for the AA class. As you can see how they stack out in this district, 12 of 21 teams will be making the state tournament, and the top 4 from each of the 3 districts. This is one where Howard is the class of this group. You know, guys, we talked about, you know, they were a true tweener between going into that 3A and that 2A. You know, aside from them, what are some teams that could challenge them as, you know, maybe the favorite to start the year off? Benny, I'll start with you.
Well, we have Woodbridge a little low because they lost some to graduation, and then they had 3 kids transfer out of state, and I thought they were in trouble. But then they scrimmaged St. George's the other day and had a pretty good go with St. George's. So Woodbridge may be a team that could be in that state final. Lyons, they lost to Archmere last year. Archmere was a good team. Archmere held the ball and kept it from them. The one issue that I thought hurt Woodbridge was COVID. They had a brand new quarterback. He never got a spring. Then they missed the first 3 weeks of the season. So he never got a preseason. The next thing you know, he's under center as a varsity quarterback. Evans is the last name. And now he's had a spring, now he's had a summer, and that could be the difference in that Archmere Woodbridge game. Because as you remember, Archmere pulled away late and put them away on a scoop and score, and then the Archmere sat on the ball. So we have Woodbridge at number 5 right now, but we may be underestimating them.
So what's the Marvin Dooley effect down there?
Well, I'll know next week. I'll know next week when they play Cape and Logan. We're covering that game. Marvin Dooley's Marvin Dooley. I mean, he's going to have his kids fired up, and you know, that's a close-knit community. So, you know, it's once he gets them, but they believe in football, and he just has to get them to buy into the Marvin Dooley way.
Nobody's going to be more excited than Marvin.
Right.
That's for sure.
He brings the energy. He always has, no
Yes.
matter where he's been. But yeah, Jay, talk about some of the teams that you're taking a look at that could challenge Woodbridge, or not Howard.
Well, it starts in their own district. Archmere sitting there at number 2. You know, they lost them in the state championship game. This year, Archmere gets them at home. You know, a big district matchup. And then you got another team, the DMA. You know, they struggled last year. When I say struggled, they were 4-2, but they lost to St. Mark's and Archmere. And this year, they're back. They got a tough schedule. Very talented team, and I think they can make some noise. They're in a district with St. Mark's, who's also in the top 5. So a couple big district matchups this year.
Mike, tell me about some of the teams that you see could make some noise in this one this year.
Well, St. Mark's last year was 6-1.
Yeah.
Missed the tournament by the hair on their chin because they cut the tournament down from 8 to 4. They were the odd man out, one of them. I think that did not sit well with them. They understood the circumstances, but they weren't happy about it. And I was talking to Coach Joe Wright a couple weeks ago, and they're motivated. They got big numbers out at St. Mark's. You know, the freshman class is up. Sophomore class was big last year. The numbers are showing up on their sports teams.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of talent to choose from. So I think they're going to be really good. And I'd like to see what Caravel can do. They see if they. I think they were 5. Well, they were 5-5 because they didn't play 10 games last year. But Caravel's always a good team. I did see them scrimmage at Archmere the other night. They moved the ball okay through the air in particular, but see what happens with Caravel. But I'd like to see what happens with St. Mark's. They do also have a week 0 game. They play at home on Friday against the DuPont.
Glenn, what are your observations looking here at District 2A, and what are some teams to keep an eye out for in your eyes?
Well, you got your top 5, and I think the champion will probably come from that top 5. There's 3 or 4 really solid teams in Howard, Archmere, Woodbridge, DMA. A dark horse might be somebody like Milford, who I will see Friday night in our opening game. Quarterback is back, Saxon. He's a senior. They have some other talent back, and I think they might do really well moving down because they were in the Henlopen North in D1, so now they'll move down to Division II. And then another team, not too many people talking about. Watch out for Lake Forest. They have some athletes. They have a sprinter, like a world-class sprinter, wide receiver named Webb, and you want to keep an eye on him this year.
There you have it.
And none of us mentioned them, but every year you gotta watch out for Delmar.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The Wildcats and the town too small for, they're too big for one state, right?
That's the truth, my friend. That is the
Under
truth.
Dave Hearn, they're gonna be. They could find themselves in that top 5.
Always fundamentally sound, that program. Always fundamentally sound.
And that District 3, from top to bottom, any one of those teams can win it. Don't count out Red Lion. Like
Caravel.
Mike said, Caravel's in there. And then you got 4,
From Henlopen South.
From the Henlopen South that are just, really good. So I think that district, that could be interesting. It's going to come down to those district games.
Sure.
And so it's going to be interesting. And some are going to have to travel, Some the South teams are going to have to go up to Caravel and Red Lion, and Red Lion's going to have to go down there. So does that add into it?
Well, let's go right down. Let's go right down the panel here. Give me 2 games that you guys are excited about. I'll start with you, Jay, and we'll work our way down.
I like the, and we're going to have to wait till week 10 to get it, but the Woodbridge-Howard game, I think is going to be a classic, and I'm looking forward to that game. It's always a fun game, and that's week 10, so they're getting ready for the playoffs, and they get to test each other. That's great. And then I'm going St. Mark's DMA. I think that's going to determine your District 1 winner, and DMA has to travel to St. Mark's. So I'm looking forward to that game too. Those would be my 2 teams.
Archmere Howard, repeat of last year's state championship game. Howard has lost some people through graduation. Ignudo going to Middletown.
Yeah.
That could be a closer game. Jay took my Woodbridge Howard one. So I guess letting you go first.
Yeah, why let him go first?
But the Lions Club Trophy, Delmar Woodbridge. It's a big rivalry game. We get to keep one of the few rivalries down there. It's going to be in the middle of the season instead of week 10, but trust me, it'll be a hard-hitting game.
Glenn?
That final week game, Woodbridge at Howard at Upsinio, that should be that's some kind of matchup there. And I'm kind of hoping the Upstate 302 crew on Delaware Live will have that live stream for us. I'm not going to go ahead and select that for you right now, but it's a fan choice.
Yeah. I might be the #1 fan.
Yes.
Also like the Howard at Archmere matchup. So if I have to pick something that these 2 guys haven't already selected, I'm going to say Caravel at Woodbridge.
Okay.
Those 2, I think that'd be a nice little. That's a rivalry in the making too.
Mike?
So our a game I know is on 302 week 2. Week 2, it's going to be St. Mark's at Red Lion. I think that should be a really good one. Red Lion, I know, lost some talent from last year, but they seem to always restock the cupboard out there.
Don't underestimate them this year.
Yeah.
They got a good quarterback.
They do.
They got a line.
Yeah.
They got
So I think it's going to be a good one. I think St. Mark's is going to be good again. And then week 10, Brandywine School District, Concord at Brandywine. It should be a fun one. It's it's not as it's not some of the Sussex County rivalries, but Brandywine and Concord, they're still rivals, even though most of these kids went to school with each other in middle school, then they go wherever for high school. But Brandywine hosting Concord on November 12th. Should be a good one. Maybe a playoff spot.
I was going to say, if they could be fighting for the 4th spot.
Brandywine's always right on the edge, and then
could be the year, Mike.
Maybe this is it for them. Rick Shea, I'm rooting for you.
So let's hop right into it. AAA, the top class here in the state of Delaware. Your top 5 flashing up on the screen now. All 11 teams will make the state tournament this year, so this should be some fun for sure. Middletown topping this one. The top 5 heavyweights, lots of state championships in those programs. Sussex Central ranked 3rd in the preseason. Benny Mitchell, could they make a repeat this year?
It's going to be tough. They lost a lot on the defense. Alton Dennis and Jacob Dempsey. Jacob Dempsey played one of the best games I've ever seen a defensive end play in the state championship last year. I mean, he was all over the field. He had the strip sack in the red zone. They lose him. How do you replace that kind of player? They have to replace, other than their quarterback, I think all their skill guys are gone on offense. But I watched a little bit of their Parkside scrimmage, and their backs are bigger this year. They have much bigger size backs. It's almost like they have two fullbacks back there. Sussex Central, is if one thing they do well, they run that wing too.
Yes, they do.
And I mean, I think they could push people. Nobody expected them to even be in the finals last year, and they won it. So I'm not going to say they can't, since I'm alumni, but it's going to be a much tougher road to hoe this year.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take a look here at. We said 11 teams making a state tournament. Every single team's making a state tournament. So let's take a look at some teams that may not be in that top 5 group that might be able to make some noise, maybe, or squeak their way into a semifinal matchup. Mike and Jay, you guys will be primarily dealing with Newcastle County. Is there a team outside of top 5 that's a Newcastle County team that's got you excited? Jay, I'll start with you.
Well, it's going to be interesting. St. George's Tech. They had a great year last year. They got into this tournament. They did graduate some, but so did some of these other teams in that the bottom half of that top 5, and so that's a team I think can get it done. It will be tough. They'll have to see how these new guys filling in for the people they lost, how they do. But they'd be my team.
A couple of teams that really, the one, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get into the top 5, but it really had me curious. Are Dover and Hodgson, especially Hodgson, new quarterback. Henry was there for 4 years. Najee Lally, I think, he graduated. So that's your 2 top skill players. You're replacing them. I want to see how do they respond. They've been on top or near the top for so long. How does what happens with Hodgson? I'm really curious to see that. Who knows? Maybe they come out and start blowing people away. You never know. But it'll be interesting to see. And Dover every year seems to have a solid team and a lot of talent. And something every year seems to just go wrong at the worst time for them. So is this year that Dover maybe breaks through, and another new coach for Dover.
Wesley,
so.
Wesley coach Chip Knapp.
Yeah, Chip Knapp. So
I think that makes them an intriguing team.
Yes.
Glenn, looking in the middle of the state there, where do you feel like there could be a surprise team that makes maybe a semifinal type run?
Well, I agree. It could be Dover. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Chip Knapp coaching that team. They've got some talent on defense. Sessoms is a beast. Elijah Sessoms. And James Kilby as well. It's going to be how well they play offensively. So, that'll be a key for Dover. They usually have the athletes. They usually have speed. Again, the X factor is going to be Chip Knapp and his experience bringing them over from Wesley D3 College. The other team to me is Cape. They got the quarterback, the senior D'Ambrosi. They've got Jordan Baines, a running back, a big offensive line behind Bettens and Rupert. How they're going to play defensively, I think is going to be a key for them. And we'll find out real quick about Cape Thursday night.
Benny, down in Sussex.
I was going to say, Cape too. Cape's issue is they can't afford injuries. They don't have a lot of depth, but they do have. They probably have the biggest line in the state. They have 4 guys over 300 pounds.
Big
so
boys.
they're big, and it's just going to be what you used to see at St. George's: 2 tight ends, run the ball between the tackles, and they did it well last year. They had a couple stumbles down the road, but they were in the hunt last year. They're going to be in the hunt this year. They cannot afford injuries. I mean, anywhere. I mean, they're that thin. They're going to have a lot of those 300-pounders going to be going both ways. The other team, Caesar Rodney. I mean, it's a lot of athletes in that school. They always have good track programs. They're fast, and they have Brock Connor at fullback. I think he was second team All-State last year. Let's see. He was a little banged up last year. And then he should be healthy this year. But I think the Riders, they're maybe like kind of outside. But again, they're kind of like Dover. They always drop that game. Can they put the whole thing together this year? but they always find the game that they should win, they end up losing.
So this year, last year we didn't get to see some north-south battles, right? We kind of tried to keep the travel at a minimum with COVID and whatnot, but what are some non-district games you guys are looking forward to this year? Mike, I'll start with you.
Well, we talked about earlier, Salesian and Cape Henlopen haven't played in 28 years.
Yeah.
We were joking, I think, between ourselves about the game could be over in an hour and a half.
You could be packing up at 8. Yeah. Somebody's got to throw the ball.
Somebody's got to throw the ball, you would think. But to me, as a Sally's fan and a graduate, I want to see, what kind of progress they made from last year. That's really, to me, are they better than last year? Did they take any steps forward? They have new offensive minds on the sideline. Is it going to translate to actual play calling? And then, like Benny said, with Cape, I haven't seen Cape, but it sounds like they have a couple of houses on the line. So it's
couple
one of
condos.
those couple of big guys. Bang Joe Simmons from Sally's. They have a couple of big linemen themselves, so it'll be interesting to see those two teams right off the bat Thursday night.
Glenn?
Well, the last few years, these two teams haven't been too shy as far as offense goes. Smyrna against Salesiana and Absidio, 120 points per game between the two. So a lot of offense there. Those two have really put together a neat rivalry in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that one.
Benny?
One we're not covering, but it's going to tell us right off the bat what AAA looks like. William Penn traveling down to Sussex Central on Friday night. From what I hear, William Penn's kind of reloaded. They got some talent, they got some size, and Sussex Central's your defending state champs, and they don't lose a lot in the Castle. So, and I don't pick against them in the Castle anymore. I learned. Too many people have my phone number down there. And the other game is Middletown Smyrna. And what's most intriguing about that is they're number 1 or number 2, but they're both coming out with brand new quarterbacks, brand new starting quarterbacks. But they both 4 or 5 star quarterbacks.
Yeah, but that's not north-south. Middletown's below the canal.
True.
I went to Middletown. Believe me, we were considered south.
Well, you were really south.
I don't know how.
At that point, you were really south.
Well, I tell you what, when I was driving down, was it 299 here? It didn't feel like the South.
No, you didn't feel like you were at the beach?
No, not at all.
Looks like DuPont Highway anymore.
Jeez, Jay, who you got?
I'm going a week 1 matchup, September 10th, as the Golden Knights travel up north to face Salesianum. Last year, those two teams were, fighting for that a playoff spot when Sally's went down to Sussex Central, and I believe Glenn and Nick did the game down there in Sussex Central, just dominated Sally's and pretty much took that last spot. And as you saw, they won the state championship.
Beat them with defense in that game.
Yeah. So I think now Central has to take the trip up here. I think it's going to be a packed house, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to tell us right away where both teams are in this Class 3A, where everyone's going to be behind Middletown and Smyrna. But let's see what team's going to fit in right behind them after that week 1 matchup.
All right, so we've name dropped Middletown, we've name dropped Smyrna, right? Who's going to earn that top seed, right? All 11 teams make the tournament. That number 1 seed is going to be pretty important. We're going to start from the middle outward. Glenn, I'll start with you. Who do you think is going to end up taking this top seed home?
Pat, I think you just mentioned it. It's going to be Middletown or Smyrna, I think.
Okay.
And then everybody else falls in behind them. They both have ridiculously tough schedules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smyrna's got it right out of the gate. They got a nationally ranked program to play on the road in Bergen Catholic up in New Jersey, and Middletown doesn't have an easy go of it either. Those two probably have the toughest schedules.
Okay.
But I think they'll end up 1-2.
Smyrna's also playing a Arundel, I believe.
Yes.
Early.
Benny, is there any chance that it's someone other than those two?
If Smyrna were to, if Smyrna were to stumble in one of those big out-of-state games, you could see maybe a Sussex Central stepping in there as maybe a 2 seed. The one thing I don't want to see is a Smyrna Middletown on the same side.
Yes.
Right.
Could somebody else, could could Middletown, take a couple of the, they're playing a couple quality teams. Should those two maybe lose to those big powers, and somebody sneak in and take their spot? I think they stay 1 and 2, maybe 1 and 3. But I think any team that can I think sneak in maybe is Sussex Central.
Okay. Mike and Jay, which one of the few that we've mentioned would you say to do it? Or is there someone different that you may have in mind that might be able to sneak in there? Mike, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But possibly William Penn, if the reports are true about William Penn.
Well, no, Friday night. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, yeah, they get tested right out of the gate. But I think it's Middletown or Smyrna's top seed to lose.
Jay, anyone else you want to throw in the mix there?
Nah, I'm with them.
Okay.
It might come down to that Middletown Smyrna winner gets that top seed in that head-to-head battle. So that that's early in the season, like September 17th, I believe. So we'll know then that maybe that does determine who gets that top seed.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break here. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about the football action we got coming up here in week 0, and also Jay's pick segment after the break.
High Five Hospitality was founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise concept to Delaware. They now operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings, 6 locations throughout Delaware, and 2 locations in Maryland. B-Dubs has weekly and game day specials on their delicious food and beverages. Stop in one of their convenient locations today. The Stone Balloon Ale House features a unique blend of crafted food and an array of spirits, all flavored with a dash of nostalgia. Our culinary mantra is comfort food playfully reimagined, and we prepare seasonal favorites that strive to please the palate and resurface a memory. Limestone Barbecue, from our mouth-watering Texas-style brisket, fall-off-the-bone chicken, and St. Louis ribs. Southern-style sides, mac and cheese, baked beans, cornbread, sweet tea, and our homemade pickles. Be prepared as your bread will be your napkin. Yup, we are that kind of barbecue. Expectation. You'll have a tough time choosing between our exclusive dishes to help get you through the day. French toast, French crepes, Belgian waffles, and of course, our famous Eggs Benedict. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality. High Five Hospitality.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to Delaware Live Weekly. We continue the football talk, and as we promised, Jay's pick segment is going to be really fun this year. So this year, here we go. This year we have a week 0. It still doesn't make sense in my mind, but hey, we call it what it is. That's what they told us to call it. So week 0 starts up Thursday night, past a pair of Class 3A games. Sally's at Cape, which we will be live streaming Thursday night, as well as Hodson at Caesar Rodney. Talk about, guys, these games. Pick one you may think is real intriguing, and I mean, what are we going to be getting ourselves into right off the bat here?
I'll go with the first one we're going to broadcast is Slays Adams, Cape and Lopin. 2, I think, heavyweights in the AAA. Like I said it on the podcast the other day, we could be kicking off at 7 and packing our bags at 8 if they play typical Cape and Lopin and Sally's football with the run games. But there's rumor that Sally's is going to throw the ball a little bit, and Cape and Lopin won the Troy Haynes inaugural 7-on-7.
Okay.
Beating Sussex Central. It was really funny to read that Sussex Central and Cape played in the finals of 7-on-7. Neither team really throws the ball.
Right.
But experienced quarterback back there, and Hank D'Ambrosio, the 2-sport athlete, actually like a multi-sport athlete. He has tried basketball. He has tried wrestling.
Good for him.
He has played.
I love to hear that.
He's played 4 varsity sports, and he's a lacrosse guy. So, but he never played football before the 9th grade, and he's been a starting quarterback for 4 years. So I think that's the game I'm looking forward to in AAA. And again, just like I said to Sussex Central Wing Penn, this game's going to tell us a lot about how AAA is going to shake out in that middle part of this conference.
Jay, I mean, talk a little bit about what game you're looking for. If it's the same thing, I mean, what are you looking at from the Sally side?
Yeah, I think it's important for Sally's this year. Like Glenn said, they're not playing an out-of-state team. They're playing all Delaware teams. They're in. And I know this is an intra-district game because it's District 1 versus District 2, but it's a chance to send a message to the rest of their district And we went down and we beat a Cape Henlopen team that a lot of people think are going to be better than the Vikings have been in years past. So I think it's a real important, tough road trip. And then, like I said, the second week they're hosting Sussex Central. So, I mean, right out of the gate, they get 2 of the District 2 teams. So a chance to make a statement early on the season. So, Sally's, like Benny said, they said they're going to change their philosophy a little bit. A different coach calling the plays this year. Are they going to mix in short passes to go with the run game? But when you have Cooper Brown coming back in the backfield, right. That's a huge plus. And their line is a decent size. They did lose a couple pieces, but I think that they got to go down there and they want to establish the ball. In years past, we would say Sally's is all about time of possession, and that was some of their biggest strength. I don't think they want to get away from that. I think they still want to be able to control the ball and control the game.
Glenn, who are you taking a look at here? Week 0.
Thursday night or just week 0
in general?
Wherever you.
I'm looking at that Smyrna at Bergen Catholic.
Okay.
I mean, Smyrna taking on a national power. They've got a lot of speed, but they're probably going to be playing a little bit above their skill level. Okay. And they're going to have to be careful they don't come out of that game with injuries.
Okay.
Get out of there and get out of there healthy.
The other thing about that game, it's a 2:00 start.
Yeah.
That means Smyrna's going to be leaving around 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning for a 3-hour bus drive. It's going to be interesting. That's going to be.
Spend Friday night up there.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they should. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun from a player's perspective. That'd be real fun. Take a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, what say you?
Well, we're going to be at Cape Henlopen, so that's one. Did you say Hodgson and CR play?
That was another one.
Week 0. If Sal's and Cape weren't playing Thursday, I might travel on down to Old North Road, right, Benny?
That's it.
Old North.
Take your horse.
check out Hodgson. I'm really curious to see how the Silver Eagles do with basically the new
group,
quarterback,
right?
a new group in offense. To me, that's a game that has a lot of intrigue. I will be in Lewis, however, because I'm watching Sal's and Cape. But I'll be keeping tabs on CR and Hodgson just to see how things go. To me, Hodgson's one of the stories of the year. It's not really getting talked about, but to me, that's a really interesting story.
Guys, you don't get a week off in 3A.
No.
I mean, Swayze Adams, St. George's Votech have scheduled all the other schools in 3A.
Yes.
You don't get a week off.
No.
That looks pretty solid top to bottom.
Yeah, I think even team that people haven't talked about is our neighbors here, Appo.
Yeah.
Good defense.
Is a good team, and everybody's like, well, the top 10 and Appo. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be that way. It's kind of sad when you say the top 10 because there's always going to be one team left out. But this could be maybe a group of 3 or 4 at the top, and I think everybody else is a big jumble.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk one last thing before we hop into picks. I mean, 4 of the top 5 teams in Class 3A are playing this week, including another game that we didn't discuss, William Penn. Well, we kind of discussed this. William Penn and Sussex Central. Would you say that game is the toughest game for those top 5 teams? Would that be the closest matchup of combining top 5 teams?
Yeah, I think we have them ranked at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I think that game is going to tell us the most about AAA.
Right.
This right off the bat.
Anybody else have any more thoughts on that particular game? Otherwise, we'll
just
slide
a good
right
measure stick for William Penn to see how far they've come.
Right, because William Penn struggled the last few years, and I think a lot of people probably saw them in the top 5 and said, "Wow, really they've struggled the last few years." But that's what the kind of talent they got coming in this year.
The last time the Colonials went to the Castle was 2017, and they walked away with a trip to the state semifinals.
So it's the Marvin Dooley-led squad.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, guys. So here we go. Let's hop right into the pick segment. We had a lot of fun with this a couple of years ago. Benny, you're I guess the defending champion. Actually, de facto.
Champ is here.
Yeah, the champ is here.
With his volleyball knowledge.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, that's right. I forgot.
Love it, man. So this year we are trying something different. Jay came up with a really great concept. The handful challenge is what we're calling it. 5 winners. 3 of them from football, 1 being an upset special. 2 more winners in any sport. One has to be a top 10 contest. This week there's only football, so we're going to pick 5 winners with 1 upset with the football week 0 games. And what we're going to do is we're going to each name our winners and the scores. And I'm out for this week. I'm hopping back in next week on this one. I just want to see what everybody else does. I know that may be a competitive disadvantage, but we'll see how this works out for me. Mike, start with you, my friend.
So we need all 5 of them, right?
All 5 of them with scores.
All right, I'm going Caesar Rodney, 24. Hodgson, 12.
Okay.
Salesianum, 17. Cape, 14. Oh, I might have overestimated the score on that one. St. Mark's, 41. AI DuPont, 13.
Okay.
My upset, William Penn, 22. Sussex Central, 15. Benny said it's not going to happen.
I can't. I get in trouble when I pick at home, at least.
My card isn't even. I don't even know where Georgetown is, so it doesn't matter to me. And
the other okay, because Sussex Central's not in Georgetown.
Right.
It's close enough.
Closer to Millsboro.
Okay, well, the only place I go down there is the golf courses. Love that. And my last game is Bergen Catholic 45, Smyrna 16. After seeing what Bergen Catholic did last week to their first opponent, 42-6 over another national power, I'm going with Bergen Catholic.
All right, man. Well, there you go. There's his. There's his.
All right, Jay.
They have like 8 Division I prospects.
All right, let's go. I'm going to go with my upset pick right off the bat. I'm going to go CR21, Hodgson 7.
Okay.
Then I have St. Mark's over AI 35-6. I have Central with a 2-point win over Penn. I have Sussex Tech 23, Laurel 20. And I rounded up with Dover losing to Arundel, Maryland 28-21.
All right, Benny.
All right, we're going to start off with St. Mark's beating AI DuPont 28-8. Sussex Central beating William Penn 14-13. Those wins in the Stokely area are going to blow that extra point. Bergen Catholic 35. I'm going to give Smyrna some credit. I'm going to give them 32, but they're always 35-32.
What a game.
Yeah.
I'm ready to drive to New Jersey.
Salesianum, Cape and Lopin, Salesianum 21, Cape and Lopin 17. What's going to happen is Salesianum's going to get stuffed early, kick a field goal, and they're going to throw that pass, that 1 or 2 passes they're going to throw this year, late in the fourth quarter for a touchdown, and they're going to beat Cape. And my upset special, the Riders, 21-14 over Hodgson.
Okay, all right, Glenn. What do you see
Do we
happening?
call that an upset, CR? Or
I think you got the Hodgson state champs 2 years ago. And
I got CR winning too.
Okay, well, first we'll start with the Sussex Central William Penn game. Since it seems like everybody else also chose that, I have the Golden Knights winning 17-13. I have Milford over Cambridge South Dorchester 24-21. Cambridge South Dorchester hired a new coach 3 weeks ago. Not sure he'll have the team ready to play. And we'll be doing that game live. That's our crew on Friday night. I got Laurel with a big win over Tech, 27-10. I have Caesar Rodney beating Hodgson, 17-14. So I guess that could be upset 1A.
Okay.
And then my other upset, if D'Ambrosi plays, is Cape over Sally's 20-17.
Okay. I like those. Getting some mixes in there. I love it. We're going to see how these things turn out throughout the year. We'll be giving these picks according to Jay's new format. I really do. I think it's going to be exciting. So with that concludes our preview special here. Before we wrap it up, I do want to grab one final thought from everybody. I'll start with Jay.
I'm just looking forward to seeing students back to support their classmates and being there in attendance. And also, I missed concessions last year. I want to get a nice scrapple sandwich or a warm hot dog, a tasty pretzel, a nice cold beverage. Maybe that will happen this year.
Absolutely, Benny.
Fans, bands, and sideline celebrations.
Love that.
Last year they were all spread out. Now we can some high fives, some butt bumps, some flying hooks.
Yeah.
Let's get back to some fun football and fans, bands, and sideline celebrations.
By the way, Jason, scrapple sandwiches.
I'm with these guys.
Yeah.
Seeing the fans back in the stands. If there has to be a masking situation, I hope everybody just adheres to that, and then we don't have a whole lot of issues about it. And yeah, getting the students back out there and the marching bands, because the marching bands, the cheerleaders, the student body, they all add to the atmosphere of high school football.
Mike.
Well, like everybody else, I'm looking forward to having more than 2 fans per player in the stands. Yeah, as far as the masks go, let's not turn this into the school board meetings. Let's go out there, follow the rules, and have a good time and cheer on your athletes. And hey, athletes, be safe, be smart. You don't want a positive case to shut down your season. So play it smart in the school, out of school. Be careful on what you do, and let's get a full season in for everybody. Because there's not a lot of open weeks to make up games.
Don't forget, you can find more news and updates on the website every day. Please be sure to visit DelawareLiveSports.com. Be sure to join our website and stay up to date for everything Delaware sports. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We would also like to give a thanks to all the participants from the schools, whether it be coaches, ADs, or students. This show will only get better with your participation, and we really are looking forward to a great upcoming season. Once again, we want to give a special thanks to all our sponsors during the shows and games. You'll see their ads and their commercials. If you are in the market for any of their professional products, please contact them and let them know you saw their ad on Delaware Live Sports. They are all locally owned and conduct business with true professionalism. Without these companies, our shows and live streams, they wouldn't be possible. Remember to tune in live next week. It'll be at our regular time, Wednesday, regular day and regular time, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Our first guest of the season will be here. The Red Lion and St. Mark's football teams will be live from the Buffalo Wild Wings in Christiana. That will do it for us here. Thanks again, Jason Winchell, Benny Mitchell, Mike Lang, Glenn Frazier, and Nick Halliday on the production side. Thanks again, live from here, Delaware Live Weekly. I'm going to get that name, I promise you all. Thanks to everyone.